evening, all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for session 2 of today's event. We are so much delighted to introduce our resource person, Mr. G. Naveen Kumar, who immediately accepted our request to deliver his valuable speech. He is having nearly 14 years of full stack development expertise across Java, Angular, Spring Boot microservices, mobile and web platforms. He has recognized with Innovator Award at ChargeBee Technologies Private Limited, Chennai. Mr. Naveen Kumar delivered multiple modernization initiatives, replacing legacy platforms, enabling real-time processing, vendor integrations, and regulatory compliance. He is possessing hands-on leadership in Agile, Scrum, and cross-team coordination. Also, successfully mentored developers and managed technical execution across geographies. Mr. Naveen Kumar is a passionate problem solver with expertise in private compliance, audit logging, security protocols, and scalable DevOps pipelines. He has architected and delivered a scalable online beneficiary management platform, reducing operational errors by 20% and supporting millions of transactions daily. He is an Oracle certified Java programmer, web component developer, and Microsoft certified SQL programmer. Mr. Naveen Kumar received many awards, including Bravo and Applause Award, Zenith Best Performer Award, etc. On behalf of the organizing committee, faculty members, and all the participants, I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished chief guest, Mr. G. Naveen Kumar. We eagerly look forward to your address and guidance in this session, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the warm welcome. Thanks for this amazing opportunity to CAHCET management and all faculty members. And yeah, I can see 115 participants. Good to see a lot of member even at 8 p.m. today. Thanks everyone. Yeah, can we get started, ma'am?
Yes, sir, please.
Sure, yeah. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so I hope people are able to see my slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Yes, so we are going to discuss about the ethics and data privacy today. So ethics and data privacy is something we interact every day with every application, every app, and every stuff, whatever we use, right? And even it's a slightly concern also when we are, not caring about privacy, right? So this is my LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn link. So people who would like to connect with me to discuss about IT opportunities, career growth, or anything of that sort, feel free to get connected with me on LinkedIn. Yeah. So let's get started. So today's agenda is going to be I'm going to cover data privacy and ethics, not only in the software development, website, and application. We're also going to see how that is managed in AI, generative AI, and agentic AIs. And I have prepared few demos to explain you how the safe and data privacy way of developing a software products and how it has to be done in every level. So all those things we are going to see some demos, and I'm also going to cover up some kind of the good practices what we all have to follow in the area of data privacy and ethics, right? So let's get started. So in simple world, in simple world, so ethics is basically just a set of principles that guides the systems or all our humans to manage how we are going to build a data systems or data driven systems. And data privacy, it's basically a practice of controlling the data what we basically wanted to manage within our application, right? So just to give you an example, any application you're signing up with, right? Yeah, that may be google.com or Flipkart, Amazon, Redbus, whatever it is, you will be having some kind of privacy policies, right? Just to show you some examples. Yeah. So if you see here, maybe Amazon privacy policy. So if you visit this, basically if you go ahead and sign up for Amazon or any website, you will be asked for the privacy notice information where you will be just directly selecting the checkbox and you are proceeding, right? So basically what we all have to worry about is information. They'll usually have the details, something like information we collect in the privacy policy sections, right? So here they'll write about what are all the details they are collecting part of this application and what is the purpose of the data, right? So here they are saying we receive and store information you provide in relation to Amazon services. So what are all the information we provide? We provide basically name, email ID to receive a invoice or product details, and then we also submit a phone number to get OTP and other details required to place order and also to use Amazon and get a product delivered. So all those details we share in the area of whenever we wanted to purchase something. And then for automatic information, so these are some information we are actually not submitting from our end like how we are doing in sign up, but these are something automatically collected. That may be the number of sessions you are seeing, and that may be when you search some product and viewing the product, they'll show something like similar products, similarly searched products, your previous history, already visited products, like that they'll show a lot of information, right? So for all those information, they are basically tracking you. Sorry. Yeah. So they are basically tracking all your previous visits, all your previous sessions, all those details is what they are basically taking care of, right? And then they also do the information from other sources. Big platforms like Amazon would be connected with lot of application. They may be doing some ad services with Google Ads or any other ad platforms. They collect some information even over there as well, right? So any website or any app which we are going to, which we are using already in our day-to-day life is already concerned with some privacy policies, right? So it's our responsibility to go through that in detail and understand what are all the informations they are collecting and how it is currently used, and are they managing the data well, right? So that is most important stuff, right? So that is from my ethics and data privacy. Now let's quickly take a look at it. The Yeah. Now in the SDLC, so this is something all the engineers, you know, follow in their day-to-day developments of website or app developments. So here, first we brainstorm or basically understand the requirements, and then we'll do the design, and then we'll do the implementation like directly coding, and then testing and QA, and then deployment, right? So this is how in Yeah. So the data privacy and ethics, something should be followed in the life cycle of all the software development, right? It shouldn't be done only in the requirement or only in the design, and it shouldn't be, not worried in other states. Because if the data privacy and ethics principles are not followed or implemented in any of these principles, it's going to create a problem or kind of some vulnerability, or very easy for hackers to get access to the unallowed data, right? So the life cycle, in every life cycle, it has to be done. How it has to be done? Let me give you the quick important steps or aspects of this, right? So in the requirement, we collect the information across lot of places, right? So we need to make sure the data are collected whatever is required to complete the operation, right? Nowadays, if you remember, maybe 5 years back or few maybe 7 or 8 years back, any website or any app you wanted to do the sign up, they would be asking a lot of detail. They'll ask your first name, last name, email ID. Some websites even ask about the date of birth, and then password 1, password 2, so many detail, right? But if you really see, is all this data is really needed by the system? It's most of the time not required, right? They just need one email ID and one password. Only with that they are going to log into the website or app, and they are going to just use what is really the website is built for. But all the companies created some kind of static forms, and then they'll ask all the detail that is really not required. So we should be gathering the information what is really required, right? We shouldn't be collecting a template based answer all the time. That is something we will have to follow in the requirements, right? So when you are for example, if you are really going to build some movie ticket booking or recharge website or maybe bus ticket booking, or any of those websites, what is really required? Maybe we may need to send some OTP and then some ticket details and some basic other important details that has to be exchanged with the user. So email ID or mobile or maybe both in that case would be maximum enough. We even don't want to know about the user's name and personal first name, last name also, right? Why do we really need? So as a software developer or as a software engineer, when we wanted to really worry about the ethics and data privacies, we'll have to make sure whatever the data is collected is really required to get that task accomplished, or are we collecting the data just like a template? That is the most important thing should be done, right? And design. So data is something very base for anything. So we shouldn't be treating data as okay, let's collect and keep it for later. We don't want to do now, so we'll use for later. It shouldn't be that way. It should be in the design principle. How are we going to data? How are we going to collect the data? How the data is going to be exchanged? Are we going to follow the right SSL and other similar stack things to exchange the data between multiple systems, vendor systems, upstream, downstream systems, and then the data is securely going to be stored. So all those aspects has to be thoroughly discussed and designed during the design phase itself. It is not something like let's release the product, let some hacking happens, then we'll gradually implement or enhance the system, right? So that's going to create a lot of problems in the area of security and safety aspects. So that should be in the design level. Then implementation, when we are implementing, maybe most of the engineers may be attending this session. When you are implementing, you'll have to be understanding the secure coding, right? The secure way of coding it. So you shouldn't be having your secrets or passwords or any key passphrases not part of your application. It should be separated out, and it should be there in some HSM systems like Achilles or any password management systems, and it should be completely away from the developers source key files which we manage in GitHubs, right? So that kind of secure implementation, and then carefully storing the data even in the databases. Are we managing the data with right encoding or encrypting, masking? So are we following those kind of data? Are we having a right guardrail and checklist to make sure like the production data is not used in lower regions? So we'll have to make sure like all those details are thoroughly planned during the implementation. As a developer, you'll have to make sure like we are doing the coding in a very secured way, right? And testing, during testing you'll have to make sure like all the pen testing and all is happening. So we'll have to play with the systems with maybe SQL prompting or end-to-end testing from mobile application, web application, APIs, databases. In every level we'll have to test our systems end to end to make sure like the system is something very tight and safe, and it's not allowing any unexpected inputs. We'll have to make sure like right validations and all is handled, right? And the most important thing is monitoring. Once the deployment is over, we'll have to make sure like we are monitoring the system very well. So people shouldn't be logging the direct username, password, like PIA information we call out in the area of the data privacy laws. We call that as a PII, personal info identifiable information. So you'll have to make sure like in the logs we are not storing any personal informations, And even if it is required to be stored, we'll have to mask it or encrypt it or some kind of secured way we'll have to do even to follow that in the logging systems. And finally, maintenance. Once the system is released, we'll have to continuously audit the system. We'll have to make sure the secrets, passwords and all rotated more often, and we are maintaining our systems in a very safe and secure way, and only the right informations are audited, right informations are collected, stored. So that kind of audit should happen very regularly to make sure, like the right ethics and data privacies are followed in our system, right? Yeah. The next core principles of data privacy. So as I mentioned, so we'll have to collect and use the data responsibility. If you are really not some data which we really don't need to perform any of our core operations, we'll have to make sure, do we really need that? Even if we need that, are we following or having the right data retention policies? Something like, okay, I'll have the data just for 7 days, 3 days, and then we'll have to get deleted the data, right? So we don't want the data lifelong. And then we'll have to make sure, like, we are protecting and securing the data. Maybe people who are directly trying to access or view the data, they shouldn't be allowed with that, right? And that's the protecting and securing the data. And respect user rights and accountability. We'll have to make sure, like, the right data is allowed to be viewed for a right people, right? In the area of JWT, which I also have in the demo, I'll show you that in detail in practical way. But there we always have authentication and authorization, right? Authentication is something, is people are allowed to access the system or not. That is authentication. Authorization is people are allowed to perform the right operation or not, right? So we maybe we lot of people may be having a Flipkart .com website access, but are we all able to add a product or manage or update or anything? No. As a customer, we should be able to search the product. I can add to cart, I can order it, maybe I can go ahead and write some reviews, but other than that, I will not be having access to perform any other operation. But as a Flipkart product catalog admin, they should be able to add up product, update the description, add right colors, change the prices, lot of details, right? So that's basically providing access to perform a right operation to right account, right groups or right users. So that will ensure, like, the data is managed also by the right people instead of giving access to all the people, right? So these are some of the core principles we'll have to follow. And these are some of the laws. So I have captured all the laws just for reference, but I have highlighted few which we would be seeing uh, more in our day-to-day usages, right? So one is GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, and HIPAA. So this is health-related details, right? So any company, something like insurance companies or medical hospital related companies, they'll be mostly be enforced with HIPAA, which means that they'll have to, this is how they'll have to maintain their health records, and this is how they'll have to maintain the confidentiality of the patients and their disease history, all those medical related things. There are some enforcements that must be followed. That is about the HIPAA. And for GDPR, General Data Regulation Protection Regulation, so this is for a general limitation. What this again says is, collect the data what is really required and make sure the right retention is followed, which means that if you no more needed a data, you have to delete it, right? So any websites which allows, okay, delete my account, if the user is performing delete my account, all the details about the user, including their past detail, everything should be deleted. So that kind of control should be given to user. And what is the all the data collected, I have also shown you in the privacy policies, right? Any website whatever we are using right now would be having some privacy policies, right? And that policies always tells what data they are going to manage, what they are collecting, what is automatically collected, how they are going to do that, and what is the retention period, everything. And these all are something enforced by some GDPR EU. So that is how they'll have to follow the details. And if at all it's not managed or done properly, it will be ended with some penalties for those companies, right? So these are the laws of data privacy. Now, let's say, like, any company which has not followed any proper data privacies ethics, and then the secured way of implementation, like whatever we have checked in the SDLC life cycle, if we have not done the secure way of coding and the data is not protected in a right way, what are all the dangerous or what are all the leaks or breaches it can bring to the organization is listed here. These are some risk, right? So the data breaches and leaks can happen, which will definitely spoil the company branding as well, and also it will create some monetary stuffs as well, right? So they may not be just a branding alone. If there are any access to any financial products or financial aspects, uh, people who don't have access may even access some financial stuffs, right? And then bias and unfairness in AI. If AI systems are allowed to be hacked, or the data whatever is used for AI training is having some law related or data privacy concern related data, then there is a bias and fairness risk over there, right? And excessive data collection. So we'll have to always make sure whatever we are going to collect is really required. If something is not required, let's not collect it. Or even if you are going to collect it, follow the right retention. So that is something very important. If at all we don't do that, there is a high risk of getting of those data leak. And non-compliance with laws. So all these laws, whatever we have checked, we have to make sure like we have compliance with those laws to make sure we are building a very safe and secure products which public or B2B companies would prefer to use, right? And transparency. So we'll have to make sure like all the privacy policies of all the websites should definitely list down all the stuffs, what they are going to collect, how they are going to manage it, what is the risk associated, and what is the right practices as a user or people will have to follow. All those detail has to be very clearly documented, and even in AI systems this follows. I'll also cover that in another few slides. And I have also listed down few links here. At the end of the session, I'll take you to these links randomly just to show you what are all the few top companies recent data leaks happened. And right, so that's going to be definitely security vulnerable stuffs, right? So we'll have to make sure when we are building a product, how we can overcome this, how we can do the audits every quarter to make sure all the end-to-end SDLC life cycles are followed with the right data privacies and ethics, right? I'll navigate these links at the end of the session to give you more aspects after covering the practical demo sessions. Yeah. And then ethics in AI. So just we discussed about how this has to be followed in the SDLC. Nowadays we are building a lot of AI systems, LLMs, and every enterprise companies have their own LLMs, and every subject matter experts are built with their own agentic systems to perform the core operations within that system. So the ethics and data privacy is not only with the humans control, it's going to be the AI as well, right? So it has to be fairness and non-discrimination and transparency. Nowadays we are giving a prompt and ChatGPT or any other similar LLMs are giving some response, but at the end of the day, behind the scene there is some traces, right? So what information is collected, what filters are applied, and what is the output selected, and in the output what are all the filters applied and what is the final output. So all these are tracked as a traces. Why? Because now if the LLMs are not built with the data privacy laws and proper data ethics, the risk involved is we should be able to conversate with LLMs and try to get access to the data which we are actually not allowed, something like that, right? Hey, can you help me with some secret or passphrases, what is there in code, something like that. Now it will tell like, yeah, I'm not allowed to tell. Now if the LLMs are not built with the tight data privacies and laws, now by doing lot of conversations we should be able to get some detail or part of the detail or full fast braces which might bring lot of risk, right? So any AI system whatever we are building, how we are going to focus on solving a core problem with the AI, it is very very important to make sure like we are having a right guardrails to make sure the AI systems whatever we are building going to solve a problem which is built for the core real time problems, along with the data privacy and ethics laws are enforced with the stronger mechanism behind the scene, right? And privacy and data protection and human oversight. Yeah, at least for next few years human oversight is highly required. Nowadays only we started building a lot of agent AI systems in every enterprise solutions, so it is very much important to view all those decisions made by agentic AI systems, how the workflows are triggered dynamically, what are all the input considerations, and how the AI is taking this decision. So all those traces we'll have to check case by case, and are the data privacies and all those stuffs are properly handled or not, right? Now the systems now where we are currently, if you see, LLMs are built with public information, and enterprise companies are using a lot of LLMs with their own data for their employees, associates, and internal vendor peoples to work with their systems. Now when when the LLM systems are built, now we are in the phase of building agentic AIs, right? So the dynamic workflows are built and implemented or tried out in a lot of enterprise for their core problems, so that agents can work with other multiple systems and it can go ahead and manage the data or workflows, dynamic workflows. Now the risk is even more, right? The agent needs a very core strong APIs, and it needs high performing background microservices or systems. It needs very strong database systems, multiple data segments, and then it also needs other upstream systems, vendor systems. Now any risk in any of the downstream systems or dependent products definitely going to make our agentic AI systems is also going to be easily vulnerable, right? So now the risk is even more. Whatever the systems we have already built and already running, and when we are going to build agents on top of those existing systems, we'll have to make sure like the data ethics and data privacy policies are already rightly enforced. The systems are already stronger, so that the agentic AI which is built on top of it can be implemented only in that area, so that the risk won't be there, right? So those all are some problems we all have to solve nowadays. Nowadays only we started building the agents, so every company will focus more on solving that, and maybe few more startups and other companies can focus on managing the data privacies in agentic AI world. So but yeah, but as a concept and practical implementation wise, these are some of the works. Even in AI people have to give a oversight at least for next few years, right? So the key data privacy risk in generative and agentic AIs. So we'll have to make sure we are only training the data, right? We are only training the data. Let's say like while we are training itself, the sensitive data are there. Sensitive, what is sensitive data? Sensitive data may be personal identifiable information, someone's patient information, or medical or any track records, any information which can identify the individuals, or any key information which only authorized people are allowed to view. So all those data would be treated as sensitive data. Any LLM, if you're going to treat it, we'll have to make sure like the sensitive data and all not treated, or if any use case is something you have to solve with sensitive data, we'll have to make sure like those particular AR agentic AI systems are very strongly enforced with the discussed laws, so that the sensitive data training set still would work and solve a intended problem rather than creating any other risk, right? And data leakage via prompts. As I already mentioned, the leakages are going to be uh, if the LLM is not built with a strong data privacies, you should be able to discuss with that and get the details fully or partially, right? So that risk is still there. And prompt injection and extraction, this is again similar kind of risk, but yeah, this is how the SQL injection through forms, the prompt injection can be there if the LLMs are not strong enough to take care of those kind of inputs. And model memorization, right? So nowadays in chat gpt or any other system, if you are discussing in a single chat about lot of details, whatever you have discussed earlier is still in the memory of that system, so that it would be able to understand the context better, and it would be able to guide you or provide the better outputs when you are asking for some continuous prompts, right? Now in the model memorization, this memory may have some secrets or passphrases, so it is highly important to make sure like that the memory systems are also enforced with the similar data privacies. And then unclear complaints, the AI should be clear with the details. If you are giving any conflicting complaints, conflicting understandings or training data sets, that might get confused, and that may create a big open for hacking, right? And insecure autonomy. So as we discussed about the agentic systems are basically it's autonomy, right? So whether to call this system, that system, API, or use the data from the memory, so all those decisions are going to be taken by the agentic AIs, and it's not a static workflow. Okay, after A, then B, then C, then D. No, it's not going to be the same workflows for every time. It's going to be every different, right? For every prompt or for every input from every different user, the way how it's going to pick the next immediate response is something we won't be able to identify. Definitely for that, from the logging perspective, we are going to have a lot of traces on how that is identifiable and how we can understand the flow and implement the right solution. But from the autonomy perspective, the agents are going to take a decision. Now it's highly important, like the agents are provided with the right decision points, inputs, and also right required inputs, instead of uh, giving a data which may create some kind of hacking or any vulnerable related stuffs, right? So that autonomy would be there. We'll have to very strongly monitor that and get rid of that one. Yeah. And then, yeah, so with this, I have also covered the key data privacies in the SDLC, AI, and agentic AI, which we are currently building. Now I will also show you the projects and then a set of APIs, REST APIs in the demo. Once that is done, then we can also see how the privacy in practice can be managed. And then I'll also touch base with this UI risk or the data leakage stuffs or data breaches happen in the recent times. So let me, yeah, so meantime, if at all you guys have any clarifications or any doubts, we can discuss before getting started with the practical projects. Is there any question or stuffs which we wanted to discuss? Yeah, so I'll take that as no. I'll proceed with the demo. So if you guys needs any inputs, go ahead and clarify anytime. Yeah, sure. So this is a Java project I have built to demonstrate you on the steps whatever we have discussed theoretically now. Just to give you context, what we are going to try in this project. So this is a simple demo project which is going to have few controller. So one is anonymized controller, and JWT. This is some popular token. I have also touched base during the presentation on authentication and authorization. So it's going to create some token and how we are going to create a token, how the token is managed a secure way, and what are all some good practices we'll have to follow while implementing any authentication authorization systems. And it will also tell you how we'll have to log a right data and how we'll have to make sure we are collecting the right data during signups and other required functionalities also I'll touch base. Yeah. And in the controller anonymous, what is it anonymous? How it should be used? I'll quickly tell you. So this is a Java project, Maven Java project. Here I have added with this is a latest Spring Boot project, 3.3. So if people who don't have any idea about Spring Boot is a popular uh, REST API used for REST API development and microservices in the area of Java. It is more popular. Almost all the enterprise companies have very strong Spring Boot based ecosystems. So we develop a lot of REST APIs, and that can be used to build native or web applications by by integrating with the APIs whatever we are building with Spring Boot. Yeah. So this is Java 17 I have used in this sample project, and Spring Boot Starter Kit web is used to build a REST API, and JWT API is a JSON web token, which I told for JWT token. I'll quickly touch base that. So that dependencies are added. So dependencies is nothing but this project needs all these dependencies in order to use some of the classes which is going to interact with this JWT, and then comments codec for some object mapper related stuffs, and Lombak just for some getter setter and SLF4J logging related stuffs. Okay, so this is a dependencies. And now from the output perspective, I'll quickly show you here. So now this is a anonymous API. Totally three APIs are built in this project. So one is anonymous. If you see the input, yeah, so this is a post input, and here I have a raw JSON input that will take the input as name, email, phone, age, zip code. Okay, this is the input. Okay, now if I give this input, if you see the output response, it is masked. So email is masked with this, and then phone number is hashed. So the phone number is actual phone number is this, but it is hashed, and name is also changed to something else, and then age is the direct age is changed to age band, and then zip code. Okay, so all those for only first three we are going to show. So now what problem this solves, right? So this is basically anonymizing the input. The risk with this input is we should be able to identify personal information. So personal information, so name is Naveen, and Naveen's email ID is this, Naveen's phone number is this, and zip code and age. So all these are in the English readable, human readable formats. So there is a high risk of, having these details directly in the input. Any of the input is going to be like this. The risk where it is associated, I'll quickly come there, but the output is masked like that. Now, if you see here, I'll clear all the previous history. Now, if I'm making the request, what you can see is this is the request I have logged here. So you can also see the same code is here, right? So these two lines are printed because I have printed with the log.info. So the info is printed in the log here. So it is printing name and then email ID, age, all the detail. Basically, whatever I am passing here, all those details are printed over here. But is it a right way of doing? Definitely not. Right? Why? Because in the STLC lifecycle, when we discussed, we'll have to make sure like in the logs we shouldn't be directly printing the PII information. What is PII information? Personal identifiable information. Okay, there is a email ID. So with this, we should be able to identify the person, right? And maybe only with the name we won't be able to do it. Age is also totally fine, but phone number, with phone number we should be able to identify, even with the Truecaller and other similar apps we should be able to identify the person. And then zip code will not be able to identify the person, but person's address is somewhat only with zip code it is very hard, but still the information leakage, it is treated as information leakage. Now this shouldn't be like that, right? So we shouldn't be printing like this at all. So how we'll have to print something like that. Now if you see in the next line, right? So the email ID is something hashed, right? So SHA-256 hex is used using this digest details package, and then directly we are just printing only the substring of 8 strings, and that is also directly not printed, right? And then age is printed directly, which is totally fine because only with the age we won't be able to do anything. And zip prefix, so we have only printed 3 characters, and then phone number is also just implemented with something like that. Now if we log like this, it is a very highly concerning and risk. So you'll have to make sure like, we are logging like this. Okay. And in the information, whenever we are going to store that information, even in the databases, either we'll have to do the masking something like this, or we'll have to do the total hashing like this, or totally we'll have to encrypt and manage the details instead of having the plain English text like this. Okay. So that's the first thing. So in this case, this log shouldn't be even like this, right? Shouldn't be like this directly. It should be used with the actual masked details only. Okay, I have just commented this for now. So this is in the area of anonymous, right? We are anonymizing the input. So the details are there, but the details are used only for the purpose what it is built for. And when we are going to store it, we are going to encrypt the data or mask the data. And when we are going to log that, we are going to log only the required inputs, and that input is also is not going to be PII identifiable information. So these all are some kind of stuffs we'll have to follow in our day-to-day engineering developments of any products or softwares. Okay. So now let's go ahead with the next one. So before going to this one, I'll quickly give you the heads up on what is this JWT. So jwt.io. Yeah. So this jwt.io is a popular web token, and this is widely used. Lot of enterprise products uses these JWT tokens to perform the authentication and authorization. Whenever basically we complete email ID, phone number, name, and do sign up, behind the scene it will create some token, and then it will send the token, and with the token they'll manage the details and then they'll proceed. So instead of having a session based systems which we have built 10 years back, now everything is, or stateless, which means that only with the token we directly make a API call. We don't want to have any previous sessions or any cookies or anything associated with that. So that's the current trend microservices. Wherever you can see the microservices are built, and all these applications will have JWT.io, and it's not something specific to Java. So people who build Node.js, Python, or any other backend systems, core systems, they would also be preferred to use JWT.io for all the token, JSON web token for all the authentication and authorization purpose. This is a background. Now I'll show you what we are going to build with this, right? Now we are going to generate a token, and the token, this is the input. This is a post API, and I'll just beautify for better readability. Yeah. So here the username, I'm just mentioning the username. Maybe and then the role is user, and then TTL seconds. So time to live. TTL is nothing but time to live. So how long the token is going to be valid. So I have mentioned 120. Okay, now if I'm hitting here, you can see 200 okay, and the response is received in 73 millisecond, and token is here. Okay, and the time is expires at epoch. This is the time. So we have given 120. Now the time is 8:53. If you go ahead and see this using any epoch, can see 2 minutes. So 20:55. I think we generated at 20:53, 15 second. Now to 120 seconds we gave. So this is the expiry time, right? Now this is the input, but all our systems would be exchanged with only this token. We won't be sharing any username, because username may be personal identifiable information, and then role is not personal information identifiable, but it has to be handled very properly to make sure the authorization principles are taken the right way, right? Now if you take this token which we generated in our application, you can see in this jwt.io, you can paste the token. You can see the details here, right? So the subject is Naveen, only simple text. It's not any email or any personal identifiable information. And then when the token was generated and how long it's going to be valid. Right now the token is actually technically valid, and the role is user. Now if you go here, I'm going to give this token. In this verify API, I'm going to give that. So what you can see is this is the token created for Naveen, and then the role is user, and these are the times. Okay. Now once 20:55 is happened, probably if I make a API call, still it's working. This token is actually working. Okay. Now maybe 15 second it will work. I'm just continuously hitting just to show you what's happening behind the scene. Now, so far we are getting 200 okay only. Yeah, suddenly we got 500 internal server error. What has happened technically, right? If you go ahead and see the error or the response, JWT is expired. It is expired at 15. uh, this prints some different timestamp. That's why it's not matching with that. But it is expired, right? So expired, and a difference of 1398 millisecond, which means that it got expired, but after 2 seconds we hit that. Now here we are, the important things to understand here is latest microservices or latest enterprise products are built with a lot of services, and all the services are exchanged the informations with the JWT tokens. That's the first thing. Okay, and how the JWT token would look like, the token would look like this. And what are all the details that JWT token would have? That will have some header, and then some payload, and then some signature. Okay, it is showing signature verification failed because I just mentioned something like that in the code, which is not right. But just for example, I have just mentioned here something like that in the token. Yeah, so it is just mentioned the secret is something. mentioned something like this. Okay, and then issue is also mentioned something like that. But all these is for demo purposes. But in practical way, all these are going to have some secret keys, and that secret key is not going to be part of this simple Java class or Java this method. This is going to be used in some products. The some popular products are killers. Okay, so these are some password manager products. These HSM tools manages all the passwords. This would be connected here, and then we take the password directly from this application. So that why we wanted to do like that, because all the source codes are managed in github.com, right? Github.com or any similar Git related products like Bitbucket or any other thing. There we manage all the code, but these are some secrets and some passphrases which might be required to create any token or any even for database connection or any third party system connection, SSL, TLS transactions, password phrases, all those detail would be there. So, but all those detail, we won't be managing that within the application. It would be managed in product like Aquilus, some HSM software management tools for privacies to make sure the data are in right control for all the right systems. Okay. Yeah. So now, so that is the token is generated here. And the another most important information is we are giving a expiry time here, right? We have here we have mentioned this as 120 seconds. Usually most of the companies would have a token for 5 minutes to 15 minutes gap, right? So 5 minutes means something like 300 they'll input and they'll create a token, and this token will work only for first 5 minutes, and after that a refresh token would happen. When you are interacting with the application behind the scene, token refresh would happen, and then they'll create a new token, and then they'll do that. Why it is required? Because even if people access the token, they shouldn't be able to perform any unauthorized access for more than allowed time. If you are restricted with only 2 minutes or 3 minutes, even though this token got leaked due to any mishandling or any security vulnerable stuff, still they won't be able to have a unlimited access. So that's the reason we wanted to give this TTL seconds to make sure the token things are handled properly. And this was the reason when you are interacting with a lot of banking application or any other application, you would be seeing like, okay, your session is logged out, please log in again, something like that, right? So because when you have not performing any interactions and the refresh token could have not happened, so the token may be invalid in the UI, so that got validated and directly shown a message like it got invalidated and please retry again. So that's how it would be implemented. And the role is something, uh, all these are when you are getting a token, what that means is authentication is done, which means that, okay, you are allowed with the token. So now for demo purpose, we are having this, but in practical, they'll also collect a password, and that password would be validated against any Active Directory based systems or something like ping fed through any SSO interactions, and then they'll provide a token. But in cases, they'll also have a role here. They'll have a role like admin, user, something like that. And then when you are building APIs, so here itself, right here itself slash admin slash auth, then if you are admin user, only you will be allowed with these two operations. So something like that, they'll create a users and then groups and then roles, so that we call as a RBAC, role based access control, right? So people who will have specific roles only should be allowed to do something. This also we discussed, like, okay, anyone will have a Flipkart access, but all the people won't be able to do something. Flipkart's admin people would be able to do something, but as a user, we should be able to perform some simple search and ordering only. Okay. So now the anonymous is something we are totally changing the input, and then here we are generating a token, and it shouldn't be unlimited time, and we also wanted to make sure the right rules are followed. And then the verification of token, if the token is expired, it will give the error as 500. Okay, so something like this, right? So now I'll do maybe 100, and then I'll create a token. Now if I give this token, you can see the response for maybe next 100 second. If at all the token is tampered, like we are changing the information, okay, instead of user, I'm changing the information to admin and passing, then the secret key won't be matching. Then again, we'll get the same error. So that's something is by default taken care by the JWT tokens, right? So this is how the stuffs are handled here. Okay. Okay, so the next thing, quickly I'll touch base on the yeah, privacy in practice, right? So almost all the companies I have mentioned, like they'll have a privacy policies and they'll collect a lot of information, and how they are handling, they would be managing it somewhere. Now, some of the websites which give highest priority to privacies so that it is safe for us to use that. Okay, something like this. DuckDuckGo. I don't know how many of you have heard about this DuckDuckGo. It is exactly similar like Google.com, the search engine. The only difference is whatever you search, let's say like okay, Java, hello world. If I'm searching this, most probably you all would be seeing the similar results. Okay, same order, same result, same informations. Okay, but in Google, what I see would be totally different than what you all would be seeing. The reason is Google collects lot of information. They'll have information like, okay, what are all the ways I interacted with Google, and what are all the some of the websites I have already visited, and what are all the websites I have just visited and closed in maybe less short span of time. So they will have lot of information behind the scene. Basically, they are tracking me, right? So they are tracking about all my interactions, all my actions, all my clicks, sessions, time, what I spend to view the pages. So they are basically doing all those things. So that way, if I search something, the reason is personalized and then shared to me in the Google, right? But DuckDuckGo is privacy managed. They'll give more importance to privacy, so they won't be collecting any details. So whatever I search, they'll just give a result only for that, instead of providing a personalized stuff, right? Sometime, see, we also prefer to see personalized information, something like okay, when you are logging into maybe a red bus, your popular routes, and then in Amazon previously ordered a product, something like that. If we see, we may feel little easier to interact with the application because it takes care of our existing data and then it shows. But the risk involved here is, if at all the data are not managed or securely handled by them, there is a high risk for data breaches that will create a so many problem, right? Once it happened for everybody as well. So now this is one product you all can prefer to use in case if at all you would highly value the privacy, right? You want privacy and you also wanted to do something like that, then DuckDuckGo search engine can be used. Okay, that is one thing I quickly wanted to touch base here. And then the second one is signal.org, right? So this is a competitor product for WhatsApp. So we all prefer to use WhatsApp because everybody uses WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp also says that there is a end-to-end encryption, which means that what you and me are speaking is encrypted and managed. So in between systems like WhatsApp or their parent company like Facebook or Meta won't be able to see the details, but still there are some uses that they would be able to see in case if it is required legally or something like that, right? So that way the information is still can be decrypted without us, like when we both are talking, right? So but signal.org is again a company which will focus more on privacy. So that way, if you are using Signal to chat or to pass the information or messages as a messaging systems, still will be having more control, like definitely better than WhatsApp. But unfortunately, we all may be not using that, so we again try to go for WhatsApp. But I wanted to share you that information here quickly. That okay, people who wanted to give a value or focus to privacy, you can have search engine product, you can have a messaging platform. So these companies are built mainly privacy in their core principles, right? Okay, and then your browser's privacy setting. So most of you may be using Chrome, maybe some people may be using Safari, Internet Explorer, or any other similar Opera or Mozilla Firefox. All the browsers would have some privacy settings. We'll have to make sure we are following that, right stuffs. So I'll quickly show you what are all some of the good stuffs to follow here is in the settings in uh, Google Chrome. So privacy and security, you can watch out this delete browsing data. So this will have about all your data like previous websites and then previous links, all the cookies, caches, all those details of the already visited pages should be tracked and managed here. If you really don't want to do that, you can click that and you can delete for last 1 hour, last 4 weeks, all time. And then in the advanced, it will also show you the download history, passwords, all those details are there. So you can go ahead and manage the data, right? And you can just wanted to manage only the cookie and cache data. You can delete that all time or last hours. So these are some of the privacy stuffs which are given control to us, right? And then third party cookies. So now if you see here in Chrome, whatever you can see here are some of the third party applications what I'm using in my Chrome instance. So some color picker, epoch time, MetaMask, Postman, Todoist, so and screenshot capture. So these are some of the applications I'm using, right? Now for these third party applications, so should I wanted to share all the cookie details, any personalized content and add stuff, or I can go ahead and block that, right? So these are some of the controls we have. So when we wanted to really be very careful on browsing the products, using the products, and wanted to be also safe, then we can manage all the privacy related details here, right? And then add privacy, and then security, site settings. So all these details are something site settings like okay, location, camera, all those details and all. When that website asks, it would be asked for some permission. So you can have those settings as default, so that only when any specific application needs camera or mic access, you can give that control and go ahead. So these are some of the privacy control every browser supports. Maybe Chrome is owned by Google and Google is also a search engine. It may have some extensive configurations to manage on our side, but any browser if you are using, you can definitely have a look at it and have the right privacy settings and ethics are controlled to manage your data on your end safely. Okay. So these are some of the privacy related stuffs which you can definitely go ahead and see. I'll also quickly show you some of the popular websites we people use and what are the data they are managing and using it. But I'll quickly give a maybe 2 minutes gap just to see if you have any questions or stuffs, so that I can quickly address that. Any question or anything anyone would like to clarify? Okay, I can't see anything in the feedback form, in the chat questions. Okay, okay, I'll go ahead and quickly show you some of the privacy policies in some existing popular websites. Let me take with a Redbus. So if you see Redbus, so maybe most of you have used to book the bus tickets here. So here you can see, maybe I can put collect. Okay, types of information we collect and its legal basis, right? So here they have mentioned what are all the details they are collecting, and they are saying transactional history, username, password, email addresses, data created by you or third party, like they Redbus could have integrated with the third party systems through that systems, and how we use your personal information while making a booking. While making a booking, we may use personal information including payment details, a card name, a credit debit card in encrypted form, and then expiry days. So all those details is what they are basically using while booking it. And then we may also use your personal information for several reasons. Keep you informed about the transaction status, send booking confirmation. So here they basically listed down what are all the way they are going to use all our information. And this will see, basically when you are actually signing up, we all have to read all these line by line, and we'll have to understand and we'll have to proceed, but we none of us follow that one. We just click that checkbox and we go ahead and complete the sign up and we start using the product. But typically the privacy says what are the information collected and what is the purpose of that, right? And same may also apply for maybe Flipkart. collecting of your information. So what are all the information? Uh, yeah. So we may collect personal data such as email address, deliver address, name, phone number, credit, debit card, and other payment instruction details or health related information from you when you set up account, right? So here they are saying what all the information they are going to collect it, and such as emails or letters, third party senders correspondence. If you, oh yeah, if you enroll into loyalty and membership program such as Supercoin, we will collect and store personal data, name, contact number, email address, communication, date of birth provided by you. Yeah. So these are some of the feature level and default and operational purposes and third party integration data they have listed down. So this is how they are going to use. And sharing of personal data, what are all the information they will share with their affiliated or their own parental or vendor companies, what are the data they would be managing it, right? So that is also they have mentioned here. So these all are privacy policy details about Flipkart. So similar way, any website you guys are using, if you take a look at it, the privacy policies and terms and conditions page, you will be able to understand the information they are collecting and they are managing it for the actual purpose. Okay. Yeah. So next, here, yeah. So we discussed about the risk, data risk, right? So here I'll give you these links in the chat. You can actually take a look at it. Okay, so these all are the links. Now, yeah, Snowflake. This is Snowflake data breach in Wikipedia. Now, if you take a look at it, the Snowflake, this is a promotion page. Okay, so this is basically some data platform which provides lot of tools for data analysis and then data transformations. So and they also have some AI based solutions for the data engineering and data science teams. So this Snowflake basically used by a lot of startups and enterprise companies who will have very big data lakes and similar solution which is built on top of the data. Okay, now Snowflake has a data breach. This is happened on 2024. What was happened actually is involving unauthorized access to customer cloud environment hosted on Snowflake, a cloud-based data warehousing platform. This breach affected numerous high-profile clients and has been regarded as one of the most significant data security incidents of the decade. Right. So now these all are some of the uh, data breaches which can happen, and here they have clearly called out that this is a unauthorized access. What is mean by the unauthorized access? People who are not allowed to view or manage or edit or perform any of the operations on some of the access, some of the data are actually allowed with, right? So that kind of data breach is what happened in 2024, and here is the full detail which you can take a look at it later and go through. I'll highly cover the other things quickly. And then the second thing is, yeah, so here this website is published on June 12, 2025, the top 20 biggest data breaches of the 21st century, right? So this will have almost all the uh, key failures, key data breaches. Here in June 2025, some Chinese surveillance database, which can impact 4 billion records. Okay, so maybe I'll also check some of the popular, yeah, Yahoo. So maybe we all have used Yahoo once in a while for financial news or Google search engine, but that got affected on 2013, and the impacted records were totally 3 billion accounts. Okay, similar way, some real estate, wealth, yeah, and then Aadhaar. So in early 28, news broke that malicious actors has infiltrated the world's largest ID database, Aadhaar. Even our Aadhaar system seems breached on Jan 2018, which got affected with 1.1 billion Indian citizen identity and biometric informations. Okay. Yeah. And then Alibaba also, right? LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a popular professional social network platform. June 2021, 700 million users posted on dark web platform, impacting more than 90.6 user base. A hacker going by got user data techniques. Okay, some data scraping is used, and they have collected a lot of information. Totally 700 million users are impacted. Here, LinkedIn argued that no sensitive privacy personal data was exposed. The incident was a violation of terms of service rather than a data breach. Okay, they are not calling this as a data breach because they have not, the breach has not happened with any personal data, but whatever they have mentioned in the terms of conditions, there is a violation over there. So some violation, but they are telling like it's not a big deal, right? And then Facebook in 2019 with 533 million users, Marriott International, Starwood, Yahoo, Adult Friend Finder, MySpace, Netis, LinkedIn, Dubsmash, Adobe, National Public Data, Equifax, eBay. Okay. I have mentioned these links also, so kindly take a look at it and understand the different data breaches and violations in the terms and conditions, so that you can make sure you are using the right, safe, secure products on the online to make sure, like, we are privacy focused users. And in the same line, even the previous session, person also mentioned that we'll have to be very careful when we are interacting with the AI systems. Make sure you are not feeding lot of your personal data. Like any personal data you should avoid. Even if any cases are required, make sure you are at least limiting sharing the personal informations to any chat GPT, Google, or any other systems, to make sure, because behind the scene there is a system, there is a human, and lot of our chat details may also be used to train the data, to train the LLMs for the next version of its advancement. So exposing those kind of information would be really critical, and it's insecure for our privacy. So we'll have to make sure, like, we are not doing that. And then this one I have observed. Economic Times mentioned probably September 15, right? So 5 days back. 5 days back, Jaguar Land Rover hit by cyber incident, once of data impact. I have gone through this news, but what it looks like is there is no official confirmation from their side, like data is leaked or any violation has happened. But there is a news over here. Some cyber incident has happened, but someone has to confirm what are all the compromises, what kind of data, what is the impact. Maybe someone may be um, checking or analyzing or validating the impact, but some kind of things have happened even 5 days back here in JLR, right? And final link. So these are some of the links I have picked for the lot of data, popular products, and in recent times. But extensive data breaches have happened. Okay, so this is again a Airways companies. So Qatar. Okay, this is Australia's Qantas Airways. More than million customers had their phone number, birth date, or home address accessed in one of the country's biggest cyber breaches. Okay, so looks like it is all the PI information and data breaches have happened. So yeah, so these all are happening in enterprise level, but all the data is provided by end user and people like us. So we'll have to make sure we are using the right platforms and we are also giving the right data. And when we are not using it, go ahead and make sure you are deleting it. And most important stuff is either enable a MFA, like multi-factor authentication, or change your password more often, to make sure your data and your details are safeguarded, at least in your level. But still there is a possibility that if company who is not able to manage the security aspects better, all our privacy data may be leaked. But all the companies is also working very hard to take care of that. But still, if we can control to an extent on our side, that would be managed pretty well, right? So, and in any AI, LLM, ChatGPT, GenAI products, make sure you are not sharing any personal data. So with that, we can be, safeguarded with our actual solutions. Yeah. I think with this, pretty much I have covered all the agenda planned for today. So if there are any questions, any clarifications, any other examples or anything, feel free to let's discuss that now. Yeah.
If any queries, participants may kindly ask. You can clarify your doubts with the guest now. Please don't hesitate to make queries. This is a time for making query. If no queries, then we can go for vote of thanks.
This is the time to conclude session 2 by vote of thanks. Thank you very much, sir, for your enlightening and thought-provoking session. Your words have truly added immense value to our faculty development program. On behalf of the organization team and all the participants, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for sparing your valuable time with us today and also sharing your knowledge, insight, and experience. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Naveen sir, for your wonderful speech now.